Hey guys, it's Jessie Hilgenberg. Today I'm gonna walk you through 5 amazing shoulder exercises that are gonna help you build those boulder shoulders, gonna help you build those caps on your shoulders. These exercises are, of course, amazing for strength. Strength in your shoulders is super, super important, but today I'm just gonna focus on building size and carving out those shoulder caps. So what you want to focus on with shoulders in order to do that is you want to make sure you're hitting all the different angles. So you want to focus on your anterior, which is the front, your side laterals, which are your medial delts, and your posterior, which are the rear delts. So you've got to make sure that your shoulder workouts are comprised of hitting all of those angles. On top of that, you want to make sure you focus on time under tension. What that means is that there's enough frequency and volume going on with your shoulders in order for them to grow. So time under tension can look like volume, which can be sets and reps. It can look like tempo, so counting the duration of each and every single rep, making sure they're nice and slow. That'll add a lot of volume to your shoulder training. It can look like frequency, which is how many times you're hitting your shoulders per week. Anything like that goes when it comes to time under tension. So these 5 exercises are some exercises that you may not have heard of. Some you have, but I'm gonna mix them all up together. They're some of my favorite shoulder exercises that have helped build my own shoulders, and I'm gonna walk you through how to do them today using barbells, dumbbells, bands, whatever you got, you'll be able to get this done. Let's go. All right, you guys, the very first exercise I'm gonna show you is what's called the Z press, okay? I'm sitting on the floor for a reason, and I'm gonna show you first using a barbell, which is, in my opinion, preferred. I love doing these with a barbell, but I've also got dumbbells and a band with me so that I can show you how to do those if you don't have access to a barbell. Okay, so sitting on the floor, okay, the first thing first is that you don't just sit on your butt, because if you sit on your butt cheeks, you're gonna be able to tend to kind of have this hunched over bad posture. So I want you guys to think like you're sitting on your hamstrings. If you think like you're sitting on your hamstrings, that'll force you to be on your sit bones more and will help you have a much better posture, okay? Your feet are about shoulder width apart. That's gonna help you because we're gonna press overhead here. If your feet were together like this, you'd kind of be a little wobbly and might not be able to keep your balance. So having your feet about shoulder width apart, make sure your legs are active, okay? So my quads stay nice and engaged and my entire leg is glued down to the ground. Now with a Z press, it's basically a no cheater way to do a shoulder press. You can't use momentum. You can't push into the floor with your feet. You can't do anything like that. So you're gonna develop a lot of trunk strength, which is super, super important in everyday life, but also for big lifts like the squat and the deadlift and the overhead press and the pull-up. So go ahead and grab a barbell and make sure your shoulders are nice and warmed up and injury-free. Okay, and from here, you're just gonna bring the dumbbell to your collarbone, okay? And what I want you to think about right here is your elbows being underneath your wrist. So not too far back, not too far forward. Elbows are right underneath your wrist, okay? And my grip is about a little wider than shoulder width apart. And from here, make sure you're not hunched over. Really sit on those hamstrings, okay? Pin your legs to the ground as you take a deep breath in and push the barbell up overhead. Okay, now did you see how my head kind of went through the window here? I want you guys to do that. So don't just stay like this, really get the head through the window. Elbows stay right underneath the wrist and you bring it back down to your collarbone. And push, okay? That's a Z press. Now I'm gonna show you guys using dumbbells. Okay, same exact theory, same exact setup, same exact stance, okay? Dumbbells right over the wrists, right over the elbows. Okay, take a deep breath in. Okay, so I want you guys to do it just like that. The only thing that gets difficult here with dumbbells is you don't have the bar up overhead to get that full range of motion and get the head through the window. It's a little bit hard to do that with dumbbells, but you guys can do your best. Now with bands, I've got a standard handle band here and I'm just going to sit on it. Okay, and the trick here is to make sure that you've got enough resistance. So with me just sitting in the center of this band, it's way too light. Okay, if you have a stronger band, then great. If you don't, all I'm gonna do is just create some more tension by just making a little loop in the band so it's not perfectly straight underneath my glutes, okay? So I just made it so that there's a little curve in the band underneath my butt, and I'm just right here. Make sure it's nice and even, okay? And now there's a lot more tension in this band, and then the same thing applies as you did with the dumbbells. Wrist and weight over the elbows. Take a deep breath in and press up, trying to get that head through the window. All right, let's do it. Okay, exercise number 2 is called a Bradford press. I call it a rainbow press. You'll see why, but this is actually one of my very, very favorite shoulder exercises to do. I've been doing them for years, and I love the time under tension that this exercise brings. Literally the entire movement, your shoulders are under tension, which is awesome for growth. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys using a barbell first. So your grip is gonna be wider than shoulder width. Okay, come out like this, okay? And again, you wanna make sure that your elbows are stacked right underneath your wrists, okay? So don't get forward and don't get backward with the elbows going behind the wrist or the weight. All right, from here, the barbell is gonna be right at your collarbone level, okay? Make sure your trunk, your core, your glutes, your legs are firmly planted, nice and engaged. Take a breath in, and you're just gonna bring the barbell up until it just clears your head and come down about to your traps and then right back over. So don't get to, you're obviously gonna have to get your head out of the way, but you wanna try to keep the head as sturdy as possible during it. So I don't want you putting your head back like this or forward like this, okay? I want you guys to remember to keep your elbows underneath the wrist, just clear your head, come back toward your traps and back over the front, all right? Now I wanna show you guys how easy it can be to kind of get this one off a little bit when you come over the back, all right? In the back too, your elbow needs to be right underneath your wrist. So your elbow needs to be right underneath your wrist as the bar comes to your traps, staying underneath the wrist all the way over in the rainbow. And then it's really easy here to have your elbows go backwards this way. So make sure when you're in the front part of it, that those elbows are forward and not tip back like that. Now, if you have dumbbells, it's a little harder, kind of the same thing with the Z press. You don't have the bar there to gauge the movement, but something is better than nothing. So when you're here, just slightly come up overhead, pretend like there's a barbell on your traps, and then right back over. Keeping the same thing in mind, making sure the elbow doesn't come forward in the front. Now, if you have a band, handle band just like this, you're gonna step on it in the center, and you're gonna do it just like you did with the dumbbells in front like this. Imagine if you had a barbell and it was right in front of your collarbone, press it up overhead, barbell is on your traps, up overhead, keeping the elbows underneath the wrists in the front. All right, let's get it. Okay guys, next up are front raises. Now if you guys are doing a lot of incline pressing or overhead pressing, you're already hitting a lot of anterior delts, which are your front delts right here. But if you're not, you wanna make sure that you hit that angle. So I'm gonna show you guys how I do front raises. I've got a band and I've got dumbbells, and I'm gonna show you both ways. So if you're using dumbbells, okay, you're gonna put your palms facing your body like this. All right, get a soft bend in your knee. My feet are either together or somewhere between touching and hip width apart. All right, now make sure your core and your glutes are nice and tight. You take a deep breath in and bring the dumbbells right about to forehead or nose height, okay? Now, a few tips here. Make sure that you guys don't get this happening with your wrist or the opposite happening where your wrist is like this, okay? So make sure you have that nice strong line from the wrist all the way to the end of your knuckles the whole entire time. And if it helps you target those muscles a little bit better, you can even put the dumbbells at an angle like this so that you have a little bit of an inward turn with those dumbbells. Okay, everybody's gonna feel them a little bit differently, and I want you guys to play. You can also have your palms facing inward and do the movement like this, okay? And you can even do them single arm, okay? Like this. So everybody's different. I personally love doing single arm front raises. That allows me to focus on the arm that I'm using and not get any momentum going, okay? You guys can do these kneeling on your knees if you feel like you're lifting the weight up and using a little bit of rocking to move the weight around. Definitely a no-no. Now, if you guys are using bands, step on the middle of the bands with your handle bands like this. Okay, you can step on it with 1 foot or 2. Everything's the same, a nice soft bend in your knees. Your core's tight, your glutes are tight, your wrists are nice and straight. Bring the bands up to about nose level. And make sure you guys are going down, okay, that lowering portion, nice and slow and controlled to keep that time under tension. All right, let's do it. Okay, I'm throwing lateral raises into the mix here because it's one of my favorite exercises to work on that mind-muscle connection with your delts. So if your mind-muscle connection is strong with your medial or side delts, lateral delts, it's gonna improve so much and help you target that muscle group with other pressing movements like the overhead press. So when you're doing a lateral raise, I see it done incorrectly everywhere. Everybody's swinging right here. They're just allowing this big swinging motion at the bottom in order to lift the weight up. So I want you guys to do it from a dead stop, okay? And the most tension in this entire movement is only in this tiny little portion at the top, okay? There's no tension at the bottom, barely any tension here, and all of the tension happens when you're at the top portion of the movement on the way up and on the way down. So just this little part right here is really where all the magic happens. So if you are swinging it up there, you're missing a huge opportunity for time under tension on your medial delt. Now, in order for you guys to get all the way up there without any swinging or anything like that, you need to do it from a dead stop, bring the weights up to the sides and hold it there for 1 to 2 seconds before you guys bring it back down. Now, the next thing I want you guys to know and learn that'll help with that is everybody's doing these thinking up, right? Thinking bring the weight up. I want you guys the next time you're doing a lateral raise to think away and out, okay? So if you are, I'll show you with the dumbbells first. So if you are doing it the old way, okay, you're gonna start right here and you're gonna swing it up and bring it back down, all right? Take it out of your mind. We're gonna start at a dead stop right here and we're gonna bring the weight out and to the side. So imagine doing that instead and then holding it right here for a count and bringing it down nice and slowly. You guys are gonna completely change the game of training your medial delts and working on that mind-muscle connection and improving this exercise for all other shoulder exercises. I'm gonna show you how to do this with dumbbells and a band. So grab your dumbbells. You guys can do these single arm, which I recommend, and you guys can also do them with both arms. So no swinging at the bottom, dead stop, bring them away from you, hold for a 1 count, and bring them back down. Now, if you're using a band, you're gonna step in the center of the band, okay? And imagine bringing the weight out to the sides, away from you, holding for a count, and bringing it back down. Now let's get it. Our final exercise today are for the only angle we haven't talked about yet, which are our posterior delts, our rear delts, all right? So my favorite exercise for this are the face pulls. I'm gonna show you guys using a band. So you need to wrap the band around a rig or any steady surface that you have, okay? And you step back and hold on to, if you're at the gym, you guys can use the cable machine for this. If you're at home or have a home gym, you're gonna wanna do it this way. Now let the band pull you forward a little bit so that you can retract your scapula like this and drive your elbows back. You're gonna bring the bands or the cable rope machine, whatever attachment you have, you're gonna bring the bands right in between your chin and your shoulder, okay? So allow your shoulder blades to open, retract your scapula, drive back with your elbows, and bring the weight right above your shoulders right here, holding it for a 1 to 2 count at the contraction and letting it go. All right, let's get it. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you learned a ton from these shoulder tips. Make sure you apply them to all of your own workouts. If you love this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you guys hit that notification bell so you always get notified about awesome videos like this. I'll see you guys next video, and make sure you check out jessiefitness.com for all of the Jessie's Girls workouts. See ya.